much for doing this interview with me. We were all talking off camera, but I'm gonna throw it back out there. Pink seems to be a
Yeah,
very thing going on right now as we're seeing on
yeah.
camera. What is going on with pink?
I just love it. It's my favorite color. I saw this TikTok one time that was like growing up is realizing that you are your 9-year-old self. And that is so relevant to me. This was the color of my bedroom when I was 9.
Oh
And
wow.
then I went to college and then I came back and now I'm in a big girl apartment. And why not paint it pink as well?
Do
Like,
what you want.
yeah,
That's the
absolutely.
way it is these days. Do what you want.
Yeah.
It's funny that you're doing that. I was watching the new MTV Cribs, and there was
Okay.
a British DJ. Everything was pink. Her
That's
car
my
was
dream.
pink. Her house was pink.
Oh
Her
my God.
shoes were pink. Like everything was
That's
pink.
the dream. That is the dream.
I would have thought maybe owning the Pink Panther would be your dream too.
Yeah, that's up there as well.
Well, not only is that a dream that you are making reality, but also great music. And you've
Oh,
got a
thank
great
you.
single out right now too. And it's funny
Thank
because
you.
listening to this, I thought of it was funny because I listened to your song and then I had to go, why does this cool rhythm remind me of something? And I was thinking of, I don't know if you remember the song Lily Allen, "I Smile."
Oh my gosh, yeah, of course. I love Lily Allen.
That's what the single we're going to talk about reminds me so much. The vibe, the rhythm, and everything else reminding me so much of that.
Oh, that's so great. That's awesome. I love Lily Allen. I always have it. Actually, a few people have said that on TikTok as well that I remind them of her. So that's good. That's really
That's always a good thing. But before we get into talking about what the single is, we want to talk a
good.
little bit about the career though and the love of music. Where did that all start for you?
I have always loved music ever since I was a petite youngin. There are videos of me in the car at like 3 singing Winnie the Pooh and everything like that. I just always loved it.
Wait, I'm
Um,
going to stop you right there. Oh, you mean he's Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh.
I fuzzy little
Little
nose up
back
with
with
fluff.
fluffies, Winnie the Pooh, Winnie the Pooh,
Something,
funny
something.
little
Oh.
bear. And then you go deep in the neighborhood where
Hungry
Christopher Robin would
neighborhoods.
play.
There's
There's something
na, na, na. Yeah,
uh,
exactly.
it's so I used to love that song when I was a kid too. That's why I got vague memories of it.
Yeah, I love that song. I love Winnie the Pooh. I loved all things like theatrical and where there's music. We all had all the little CDs of movies, like the Lion King soundtrack,
Ah.
and all of the soundtracks for our favorite movies. So I just grew up loving music, listening to music, and my parents put me in singing lessons and performance groups all throughout my life. And then in high school, I kind of was focusing on school and I took a little step back from music, but in university I got into it again and started gigging and doing some performance groups as well, and now here we are.
I'm just curious when you said you were, in high school, you were concentrating on school. Boys
Yeah.
didn't have anything to do with that concentration, did it?
They definitely did. And I was also I was also a tyrant. Like I was really struggling mentally and I ran away. I was just not in a good place in high school. I didn't feel emotionally ready to take on like doing music. I was just trying to be a kid. I'm
But but
still a
the
kid.
but the same time though too, I have to assume that those experiences were helping you write. Were you even without even
Totally.
realizing it, were you writing things that eventually became music?
Totally. I during that tyrant phase of my life, I wrote my first single that I ever released, July for the Whole Year. That was during my family calls it the dark years.
So what do you think flipped? What made things change for you and also refocus on music?
I think going to university and growing up a little bit and finding out what I really want to do. I was actually in university for psychology, and I that was really my plan. And I was also concurrently trying to become a teacher as well. And that was my plan. That was always my plan. And then in fourth year, I had a huge shift, and that's when I started gigging and doing my own songs and performing those for like crowds of drunken students and bar goers. And I really just fell in love with it again. And I was kicking myself that I'd waited for that long, but I think I needed to grow up a little bit.
And I want to throw in this too.
Yeah.
Learning the psychology.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
did that help with music? Because you're not the first person who I've heard take psychology, then become into music, and they've said to me in the past that taking psychology actually helped with how they formed their songs.
Yeah. I would say that it's very much being in psychology has very much influenced not only my music, but also who I am and how I understand the world now. Um, and the difficulties that people face with mental health and what people are really looking for in music to feel a sense of community. And I think it's really informed it for sure.
Definitely. Now we did mention about, we talked about Lily Allen, but
Mhm.
you really have formed your own sound. Um, where did that come from? Because I'm hearing a little bit of pop, I'm hearing a little bit of reggae, I'm hearing a little bit of techno, I'm hearing a little bit of R&B. Like I'm
Yeah.
hearing all these little bits, and you form into this beautiful wave of sound.
Oh, that is so sweet. That is so sweet. Thank you. I think I'm still in the phase of kind of experimenting with what I like the most, which is really really fun because I get to explore with all of these different genres and see what I like the best and what I think my voice sounds the best with. And I think there's so much more for me to discover, but I really do love the R&B beat. Like it's my favorite thing to sing. My favorite types of songs to sing are R&B. I love folk music. I love country. Like I love disco. I love so much. And so I
Ah,
want to do all of it
I
eventually.
love that. You know what? It's funny. I was just yesterday. I was listening in my car the soundtrack to "Thank God It's Friday," which was, of course, massive disco album.
Right.
And I got these looks from people. I'm like, I don't care. I want to
Yeah.
listen to my disco. So
Nothing makes me feel happier than listening to disco.
I
I
agree.
love it.
Absolutely agree. In fact, I'm ordering on Amazon. I want to get the Studio 54 ball T-shirt.
I
So
love that. Okay, I only recently watched the documentary. I was I was very late to the party,
yes,
but I wish it was still a thing.
you have no idea what you missed. And can I tell you something? On
Yeah.
YouTube, there are several other documentaries on Studio 54. Watch all of them.
Okay. Oh
There,
my
because
gosh.
one's got different stories from another one. So
Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna do a deep dive
yeah,
tonight.
yeah. You'll definitely love it. And if you ever need a list of disco songs, come talk to me. I
Okay,
will send
you're my
them to
guy.
you.
Okay.
So again, before we talk about the name of the single and everything,
Yeah.
I'm assuming you did you record this during COVID?
Did I record this? Yes. Yes, I did. This
Okay,
song.
so
Yes.
what was it like to do that? Because again, I've talked to a lot of musicians,
Hmm.
and they have had to do some creative things to get their music done. What did
Yeah.
you have to do, knowing that sometimes you could go to a studio, sometimes you couldn't go to a studio?
Yeah.
If you did go to a studio, you only allowed a certain amount of people. Like, what did you
Yeah.
have to do?
Okay, I love this question a lot because it was a process and it is a process and it's still a struggle for me to figure out the best way to do this. But I've actually converted my closet. My clothes are hanging here because I've converted my closet back there into like a pseudo studio. The sound panels in there are pink as well. I'll send you a pic later. So that's currently how I'm doing things. I'm recording vocals in my closet, and I haven't actually been to a studio to record proper vocals during all of COVID. I haven't done that, and I almost have an anxiety towards it now because I've gotten so used to like being by myself and having full control of my vocals and comping my vocals and doing everything remotely, that that's a new barrier that I need to cross and get comfortable with. I very much like being alone.
I love the fact that whoever invented the closet had no idea that they
They
were actually creating a sound studio, because that's the place everybody seems to go to. It's
right?
the
It's the best
closet.
place. It's the best place for converting your own little stew.
Then let's get to it officially. What's the name of the new single and what is it about, please?
The new single is called Nobody's Baby. And it's pretty much a little bop about embracing singlehood for the majority of the past year, actually, for pretty much the whole past year. I've been single, and I honestly have never been happier. I've never felt more like myself. Like, I've never had so much time on my hands to focus on music and doing what I love and living with friends. And I just think singlehood is very, very underrated. So this song is basically about like embracing singlehood and being okay with being nobody's baby, not just being okay with it, but preferring that.
What do you think the stigma is for people being single? I've seen people post stuff, and sometimes like I want to send them a note going, please stop posting this. And they're like, I'm not with somebody. Oh, I'm gonna be alone, and I'm just
Yeah,
like, please, can you just stop? It's not a good look.
I know. I don't know where the stigma comes from. I very much am single and not looking to mingle. And I think that's something that people are adopting though, as maybe just in my age, how we're going into our 20s. And now it's kind of like this process of discovering who you are on your own and finding your own autonomy and discovering who you are before investing yourself in somebody else, you
And I was
know?
gonna say, like, wouldn't you be happier because then you are more of understanding, not just because of who you are,
Yeah,
but and I want to make sure I say this right, complements the relationship. Not
totally.
complements you, complements the relationship.
Totally, totally, absolutely. And finding out what you're looking for, like I've had past partners where I know what I'm looking for now, but I don't necessarily need that from somebody else. I'm still need to foster a lot of self-love in myself. And I think that's a solo journey for now.
Okay, so because I've been through this same thing too. So I'm just curious, have you gone out to dinner by yourself? And if so, yes, what was the
Yes,
experience? What was the experience like?
I love it. I love Kate. It was kind of, it shouldn't be embarrassing, but I did run into people that I knew who were out on a date and I was by myself getting ramen. And I was like embarrassed to be eating alone, but you shouldn't be. You shouldn't be. Take yourself out to dinner. Take yourself out for drinks. It's fun.
I agree.
Enjoy
Okay,
it.
let's go to the next one. Have you gone to the movies by yourself?
Okay, I never have.
Okay,
I'm scared of that almost. That's a
I've
new
done
thing
it.
I need to do. I think I need to. Yeah.
I love going. Like, don't get me wrong. I love going to the movies with my girl. But
Yeah.
before her
Oh,
and everything, I would go to the movies by myself all the time. I'd be
I
like,
love
oh, you know
that.
what, theater? Let me go over there, grab my dog, my whatever, sit back,
Yeah.
sit in the corner, got my foot up, nobody's around me.
You
I
have
can
your dog
leave.
in the movie
No,
theater?
hot dog, hot dog, hot dog, hot dog.
I was like, is that allowed?
Yeah, no, hot dog, hot dog,
Oh,
And I'm
yeah,
just sitting back and I'm enjoying myself. You got to do it.
totally. Okay, you know what? There's a theater around the corner and I've been meaning to go. So I'm going to make that a goal for myself. I haven't
I
been to the
love it.
movies since they've been,
Yes.
back in action. So
So
literally.
then now here's the third challenge,
Okay.
going on a trip on
Going on a
your
trip by
own.
myself.
I mean,
Okay.
on the
I've always,
plane.
I've always
Every,
wanted to do that.
Mhm.
That would be so fun. I've been on trips with friends, but going by yourself. Yeah. Have you done a trip by yourself?
Did it once.
Where'd you go?
I went to, I want to say Dominican Republic, I do believe.
Oh,
It was a
that's
long
so
time
nice.
ago.
That's so
And
nice.
I did it on purpose where I didn't hang out with anybody. If somebody came over and sat, then we talked, but it wasn't like, hey, let's meet up, whatever. Went to the
Totally.
beach by myself, went horseback riding, had dinner, went to the show,
Oh, I love
everything.
that.
And the only difference what I did was I wrote a journal.
Very nice.
And it was kind of funny because when I got back, I realized who the people I cared about, who I didn't care about, and I cut the
Oh,
ones off who I did not care about.
oh, good for you. That's so, have you read it since?
Actually, I found it. And I did have a chance to read it, but I still have it. I'm gonna look back over it on again too. But
Yeah.
it was the first time I actually realized that yeah, I do like myself, which is why I love the fact that you have this song because that's
Yeah.
what it's really all about.
Yeah. Yeah. Totally. I definitely need to add that to my bucket list for sure.
Now, we don't want this song to be alone though. Are there other songs, an EP or an album following this?
Yes, there is an EP coming out in November, and that'll be my first kind of package of songs because I've been going kind of single by single since I was releasing music. So I'm really excited for that. It's called Party for One. which is where I've been at the past year. Like a theme has been, I'm working through all these things. And of course I have friends and family, and a team that's
Yes.
supporting me. But I feel like it's been a process of self-discovery that I've been doing on my own. And so that's a lot of the songs on the EP are kind of a reflection of some of the discoveries that I've had. So I'm excited about it.
Same here. Very excited. What about performances? Any virtual or live performances happening?
I don't have any scheduled, but I'll definitely be doing a live release kind of partay on Instagram or on TikTok. I'm also afraid to go live. That's a fear of mine as well. Like I'm afraid to let people enter my world, but I need to let it happen. So yes, there will definitely be a celebratory live thing going on for the EP.
Fingers are crossed on that. Before we wrap it up, if we could go back to those high school days, we can jump in the hot tub time machine,
Mhm.
head back to those days, and I
Yeah.
could get you to run into young you back then. What advice do you think you would give yourself, knowing what you know now?
Um, don't take everything so seriously. That's something that I would tell myself. I was extremely emotional and everything felt like the end of the world, and it still does sometimes. Oh, and get medicated. That's what I would tell myself. You have issues, girl.
Yeah, and if the medication can be pink, it works even better too.
Mine
So
is. It is.
there you go. I love it. Thank you so much for this interview. It has been a blast. Thank you for this great single. Looking forward to the EP when it comes up.
Yeah.
Looking forward to the live performance when it finally does come
Yeah.
together. But if anything, you are definitely such an inspiration.
Aw.
And it's, when going through these times, knowing that you've gone through hard times and found that road, it gives a lot of other people inspiration in knowing that, hey, if she can do it, why can't I do it? So thank you for the music and
Aw.
thank you for the inspiration.
Thank you so much for the kind words. That's really, really sweet. Thank you so much for having me as well. I loved this.